What if dementia wasn't just about memory loss? What if they were so subtle that you, or your loved ones, didn't even realize something was wrong until it was too late? Most people think dementia starts with memory loss, but in reality, it often begins with silent, easily overlooked changes that slowly creep into daily life. Maybe it's a slight shift in personality, struggling with simple decisions, or suddenly feeling lost in a familiar place. These may not seem alarming at first, but they could be early warning signs that your brain is trying to tell you something. And the sooner you recognize them, the better your chances of slowing down the progression. In this video, we're uncovering 5 silent signs of dementia that most people miss. And by the time you reach the last one, you'll see just how sneaky this condition can be. Stay with me until the end, because knowing these signs now could make all the difference later. Let's get started. Number 5. Memory loss, affecting daily life. Forgetting things occasionally is completely normal. We've all walked into a room and forgotten why we went there. But what if memory lapses start interfering with everyday life? What if you struggle to remember something you just learned or find yourself asking the same question over and over, even after getting an answer? That's when it becomes a red flag. One of the earliest signs of dementia is persistent memory loss, where a person repeatedly forgets recently learned information, important dates, or even conversations they just had. For example, they might ask, "What time is the doctor's appointment?" And just minutes later, ask the exact same question again, completely unaware they already got an answer. But here's where it gets more concerning. Misplacing objects is one thing, but forgetting their purpose is another. If someone puts their keys in the wrong place, that's just being forgetful. But if they pick up their keys and stare at them, unsure of what they're used for, that's a serious warning sign. Have you noticed something like this in yourself or a loved one? If so, don't ignore it. Early intervention is key. Consulting a doctor at the right time can help slow down the progression and improve quality of life. Number 4. Difficulty planning or solving problems. We all face moments of indecision or forgetfulness. But what if everyday tasks suddenly start feeling overwhelming? Have you ever struggled to follow a recipe you've made countless times or found yourself confused while paying simple bills? If this happens once in a while, it's not a big deal. But if it becomes a frequent struggle, it could be an early warning sign of dementia. Dementia doesn't just affect memory, it also impacts a person's ability to plan, organize, and solve problems, skills that are crucial for everyday life. Imagine someone who has always been great at handling finances suddenly struggling to pay bills or miscalculating expenses. They might even overpay for things, fall for scams, or send money to strangers without realizing it. Even simple tasks, like cooking a favorite meal, can become frustrating when they forget key steps or mix up ingredients. Can you imagine how confusing and frustrating that must feel? And here's something most people don't consider. This isn't just about difficulty solving problems. It can also take an emotional toll. A person experiencing this decline may feel embarrassed, anxious, or even start withdrawing from activities they once enjoyed. If a loved one suddenly avoids cooking their signature dishes, refuses to handle their finances, or seems more hesitant about making decisions, it might not just be a change in interest. It could be a warning sign of cognitive decline. So, ask yourself, have you noticed this in yourself or someone close to you? Don't dismiss it as just getting older. Dementia is not a normal part of aging. If these struggles sound familiar, it's time to take action. Consulting a doctor early can make all the difference in maintaining independence and quality of life. Number 3. Confusion with time or place. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? That's completely normal. But what if you suddenly couldn't recognize a place you've been to hundreds of times? Or you found yourself confused about the date, season, or even the year? What if you were standing in your own neighborhood, a place you know like the back of your hand, and suddenly felt lost? These aren't just simple memory lapses. They could be early warning signs of dementia. One of the most alarming signs of cognitive decline is confusion with time and place. A person may struggle to keep track of the days, frequently forgetting whether it's morning or evening. They might ask, "What day is it?" multiple times, even after being told just minutes before. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Dementia doesn't just affect memory. It also disrupts a person's sense of direction. Imagine stepping outside for a routine walk only to realize you have no idea where you are or how to get home. Or driving to the grocery store, a place you've been to hundreds of times, and suddenly feeling lost, unsure of how you got there. And here's something most people don't realize. Diabetics are at an even higher risk of developing dementia. Why? Because high blood sugar levels over time can damage the blood vessels in the brain, leading to cognitive decline. But there's another twist. Low blood sugar can cause confusion, dizziness, and disorientation, symptoms that may mimic dementia. So, if you or a loved one with diabetes is frequently experiencing confusion, especially before meals or after taking insulin, don't jump to conclusions. It might be a blood sugar issue rather than dementia. So what can you do about it? There's good news. You can take control of your brain health by keeping your blood sugar stable, eating a brain-healthy diet, staying physically active, and managing stress. These simple lifestyle changes can significantly lower your risk of cognitive decline. Have you noticed these signs in yourself or a loved one? If someone repeatedly loses track of time, forgets important dates, or gets lost in familiar places, don't ignore it. These could be early signs of dementia that should not be dismissed. Number 2. Difficulty finding the right words. People in the early stages of dementia often struggle with vocabulary, even for words they've used their entire lives. They might pause mid-sentence, searching for the right word, or replace it with an incorrect one. Instead of saying watch, they might call it a hand clock. Instead of refrigerator, they might say the cold box. These substitutions might seem harmless at first, but over time, they become more frequent, making conversations difficult to follow. But could it be something even more serious? What if these speech problems aren't dementia at all, but actually a stroke? While dementia-related speech difficulties happen gradually, a stroke causes sudden speech problems that can be severe right away. Imagine someone who was speaking normally just minutes ago, but suddenly starts slurring their words, struggling to form sentences, or even losing their ability to speak entirely. This could be a sign of a stroke, and it requires immediate medical attention. So, how can you tell the difference? With dementia, a person may substitute words in a way that still makes sense but is incorrect, like calling a refrigerator a cold box, while a stroke may cause complete loss of speech, slurring, or jumbled words, a condition known as aphasia. But speech problems aren't the only symptom. Strokes often come with sudden numbness or weakness, especially on one side of the body, vision problems, dizziness, or severe headaches. If you ever suspect a stroke, use the FAST test, F for face. Ask them to smile. Does one side droop? A for arms. Can they raise both arms or does one drift down? S for speech. Is their speech slurred or confused? And T for time. If any of these signs appear, seek emergency medical help immediately. So, what should you do next? If speech problems have been developing slowly over months or years, it could be dementia, and a doctor should evaluate it. But if speech issues happen suddenly, especially with other symptoms like weakness or dizziness, don't wait. Act fast and get emergency help. Have you noticed a loved one struggling to find the right words? Do they pause mid-sentence, substitute incorrect words, or seem frustrated when speaking? Don't dismiss it as just aging. These could be early signs of dementia, or even something more urgent like a stroke. Early detection can make a huge difference, so if this sounds familiar, don't ignore it. Number 1. Difficulty understanding visual images and spatial relationships. Imagine you're driving down a familiar road. You've taken this route 100 times, but today something feels off. The distance between cars seems distorted, parking feels more difficult than usual, and the stop sign ahead looks blurry, even though your glasses are on. You shake it off, thinking, maybe you're just tired. But what if this keeps happening? Visual problems aren't the first thing people associate with dementia, but they're more common than you think. The brain plays a crucial role in processing what we see. And when dementia affects this function, everyday tasks become surprisingly difficult. Reading might feel frustrating because words seem jumbled, or a person may struggle to track lines of text. Driving can become dangerous. Misjudging distances, mistaking shadows for objects, or even struggling with spatial awareness when walking through a doorway. Simple activities, like reaching for a glass of water, may become challenging because objects don't appear to be where they actually are. And then there's color perception. A person may struggle to distinguish between similar shades, mixing up blue and black, or failing to notice objects that blend into the background. This can make daily life more difficult in unexpected ways. Imagine trying to pour tea into a dark mug and not realizing when it's full, or searching for a black wallet on a dark table and not seeing it, even though it's right in front of you. For diabetics, these issues can be even more complicated. Diabetes itself can cause vision problems, like diabetic retinopathy, which damages the small blood vessels in the eyes, leading to blurriness or vision loss. But dementia-related visual problems aren't caused by the eyes. They're caused by the brain's inability to process what the eyes are seeing. This is why recognizing the difference is so important. If someone starts experiencing visual confusion, is it their eyesight, or is their brain struggling to interpret images correctly? If you've noticed that you or a loved one is struggling with reading, judging distances, or navigating spaces that should be familiar, don't brush it off. This isn't just about aging, it could be a sign of cognitive decline. Dementia is a complex condition, and the earlier you recognize the signs, the better the chances of managing it effectively. If you found this video helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button. This small action tells the YouTube algorithm that this video is valuable, helping it reach more people who need this information. If you're serious about protecting your brain health, there's one more thing you need to know. Certain medications could be silently increasing your risk of dementia. Many people take them every day without realizing the danger. Don't make the same mistake. Watch this next video, 10 common medications that cause dementia, to find out which drugs you should be cautious about. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health updates. Your support helps us continue spreading awareness and making a difference. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.